Welcome, everybody, to the Jim Masters Show. This is your host, Jim Masters. Great name for a show, huh? Good to have you with us today. Hope everybody's doing well. Broadcasting from the United States and the New York area, our entertainment lifestyle variety talk show series. It's always cool when you guys are here. Thanks for the love and the support and all the great comments. We get tons of emails and messages on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Jim Masters TV. That's where you can find me. And of course, on our YouTube channel, which is Jim Masters TV as well. This is the Jim Masters Show Live, where we're bringing together incredible guests from Broadway, Hollywood, television, film, music, stage, comedy, culinary arts, sports, inspiration, and so much more. We bring all of you in. You guys are here to chat with us. And as a matter of fact, if you would like to chat right now while the show is live, we have the JMS Lovely chat room open and available for you right now. And that is a chat room where you guys can chat amongst yourselves. Sometimes we even get a chance to sprinkle in a comment or two that you post right here on our screen, which is kind of cool. Feel free to do that. Just leave a comment in the actual JMS Lovely chat room. That's a gift for those who subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. When you do that, when you subscribe to the YouTube channel, which costs nothing, you just hit the red subscribe button on the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, you get a chance to actually have a gift, which is the exclusive opportunity to chat with us and our guest and with each other right here, right now, while the show is live in our JMS Lovely chat room. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. We would love that. We've got an amazing guest who's known for his comedic talents. We have very popular comedian, as well as actor and filmmaker, Dannon Green is joining us live and direct from Los Angeles, California. And we're really excited about that. We're going to chat with him about an incredible new documentary that he is so proud of, that he's sharing with the world, and has been working on this for a while, and it's been a labor of love. Tell you a little bit about Dan. And again, we welcome everybody who's watching all across the United States, Canada, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, New Zealand, watching live, and those who watch our episodes later on. We thank you as well. You know, Dannon is an extremely versatile actor, comedian, and scriptwriter, filmmaker, known for his signature stand-up comedy and his line, "I don't want no trouble." He made his television debut on the Apollo Comedy Hour and is continuously making a name for himself. Born in Manhattan, New York, and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Dannon possesses mega personality and the ability to keep you laughing. He's a talented comedian and actor who has been in various films, television, sitcoms, national commercials, and lots more. I'm sure you recognize him soon as you see them right there on screen in that photo you're looking at right now on your screen. He has graced the sets of UPN sitcoms Moesha, Girlfriends, and One-on-One. He has worked on the WB sitcom All About the Andersons, starring Anthony Anderson, and Nickelodeon's Just Jordan, starring Little JJ. He has also been in the critically acclaimed series The Shield, Everybody Hates Chris, starring Chris Rock, as well as the Star Channel's hit stand-up comedy series Martin Lawrence's First Amendment. And in films, Dannon has been featured in HBO's films Butter, Supreme Sanction, Desert Thunder, also in the feature film Baby Boy that was distributed by Columbia Pictures and directed by John Singleton. He's also been featured in the film Luau that stars Brian Hooks and Faizon Love. Dannon also featured in a short film that was produced by RSA Films, USA Network, called Duck, directed by Jakob Daschek and starring Skylan Brooks. He's also been featured in BET's Comic View and TV One's The Funny Spot, hosted by Tony Rock, as well as BET's One Mic Stand with Kevin Hart. Dannon Green was also featured on TV One's Comics Unleashed with the incredible and legendary Dick Gregory, hosted by Byron Allen. Did you know that Byron Allen's company also owns the Weather Channel? Absolutely. A little trivia there for you. He co-starred in the movie Happy Hour, starring Guy Torry. And he also recently finished shooting the movie Civilian Life, which he did as well. And he's currently working on a lot of different things. But he was on the hit show on BET, Real Husbands of Hollywood, starring Kevin Hart. He's been in the Netflix movie Nappily Ever After, and writing, and always busy. And he just completed his first documentary, The Executioners, a story about boxing gym out of Philadelphia. And it's really incredible. We're going to talk about all this and so much more. So actor, comedian, filmmaker, just an all around great guy. And I want to tell you that this documentary that he has really, really crafted beautifully, the response, unbelievable. Award-winning boxing documentary, The Executioners. We all had a chance, set for hometown Philadelphia, which is really a wonderful, thing, because Philadelphia is just a great American city. And there was red carpet back in October, which was really fantastic. The powerful, timely documentary is a personal story for filmmaker and well-known comedian, actor Dannon Green, who wrote, directed, narrated, and produced the film about a little-known West Philadelphia boxing gym that made a difference in many young men's lives. Many boxers featured from the film are scheduled for the hometown premiere. They were actually there already, which was fantastic. And it features interviews with Dannon himself, a two-time Golden Gloves champion whose boxing skills were cultivated at that gym, and Frank Taylor, many of the former fighters, and many others who reflect on and tell this Philadelphia story of this remarkable gym from the city of brotherly love. It's really cool stuff. And it's a really fantastic documentary. And again, you're going to want to see it. Here is the actual movie poster as well. And we've got something else we're going to show you. We actually have the trailer to this exclusive documentary, and we're going to show that to you right now. And then our very special guest coming to us from Los Angeles. So he's from Manhattan, New York, and then of course has this wonderful, beloved connection to Philadelphia, and he lives in LA, where he's working on films and television and so much more. Here's a little snippet, a little trailer for you of this brand new documentary. You're going to love this. Take a look, and then we'll have Dannon join me on the show. Good to see everybody, and welcome to the Jim Masters Show, gang.
In 1974, two men from West Philadelphia would assemble the greatest collection of young fighters the country would ever see.
You know the way the executioners started? They had 12 guys. And these guys was tearing it up.
Everyone knew that Philadelphia fighters could fight.
Only fighting style was tough, but they were slick.
I don't think there was none like this gym in Philadelphia.
But like they say, all good things must come to an end.
I got shot, victim of crime. I walked up to a situation that was a problem with somebody else.
Kelly would never fight again.
I got locked up and had to go do 18 months, and it was one of the saddest times of my life.
Yeah, I feel like I disappointed a lot of people. Yeah, I disappointed myself.
Now I'm going to tell you one good thing what Chuchi told me. He said, you know, Frank, we can help these kids. We can help a lot of kids to get on their feet and do this. My mind at that time was, I don't know what he's talking about, these kids. I'm going to make a chance.
Bernard Hopkins. He stole the name from us.
Oh, Bernard Hopkins, he wasn't the real executioner. I was the real executioner.
The executioners, we all had a chance.
And let's welcome our very special guest, Dannon Green, coming to us from Los Angeles, California. Dannon, it's so great to have you here. Welcome to the Jim Masters Show live, my friend.
Thank you so much, man. Who did all of those things, though? All that credit. I couldn't believe it was me.
I was going to say, sometimes when you hear it back, you're like, wait a minute, I did that and I did that and I did that. And now here you are, you're a filmmaker and you have this very personal documentary that you have created here with the help of everybody else involved.
Yes.
This is fantastic. Congratulations on that. That is a real work of art and a labor of love. What was the inspiration for it in terms of actually wanting to put it together and tell this story, Dannon?
Well, I grew up in Philly. First of all, thank you for having me, Jim.
Yeah.
I grew up in Philadelphia, and I started boxing at that gym. And when I was younger, I lost my mother when I was 15. I had to move out of Philadelphia. And I moved around and got out of boxing. And then wound up going away to school, going to college, getting my education, moving to California. And I happened to have a show back in Philadelphia in 2017. And when I went to the show, one of my old boxing stablemates was there and we were talking. And I asked him about the trainers. And one of the trainers I knew had died back in 1996, but I didn't know that the other one was still alive, and that was Frank Taylor. Yeah. So it got to the point where we got to talking, and I wound up getting Frank's number. This was in August of 2017. So when I came back to LA, I was laying in bed and I was thinking, I said, man, let me call Frank. I have the number. Let me see if, we still what's going on with him. So I called him. It was in early October, Jim, and I hadn't spoken to the man in about 30 years or more and hadn't seen him. And I called him. I said, hey, yes, is Frank Taylor there? And he goes, yeah, this is Frank Taylor. And I go, hey, this is Dannon Green. I used to box for you when I was a kid. And he said, Dannon Green. He said, Dannon Green, Felton Street, Southpaw. Good fighter. Yeah, I remember you. And it almost made me cry, man. I hadn't seen this man in 30, since I was a child, and he remembered everything about me.
Wow.
So we had a very, very nice conversation, Jim. And I hung up and I was like, okay, I was just, it was nice. And then I called him back and I said, hey, Frank, I think it's about, I think you have I think there's a story there and someone needs to tell the story about the gym. And he said to me, he always felt there was a story there, but he didn't know how to get it out. And knowing from being on the East Coast in the inner city and things like that, if people aren't around Hollywood or around production, they don't know how to do it, especially older gentlemen. He was in his late 70s, now 81, 82. So he gave me the rights to do the story, and I started researching it and got in touch with some fighters, and then one fighter got me in touch with another fighters. Then I knew boxers, and I would ask them about, did you ever hear about this gym? And if they knew about it, then I would go, oh, okay. And then one thing led to another, and I was able to put the story together. And we got, as you can see, we got accepted into 12 film festivals, won awards in 2. I was actually in the Manhattan Film Festival. Yeah, 2 of my laurels are missing, but I've got accepted into 12. And we also made it into the Manhattan Film Festival, and we won awards in 2. And we had it on Tubi television for about 6 months.
Tubi, yeah.
Yeah, I took it down from Tubi, Jim, because I wound up getting a big interview with Bernard Hopkins and Sean O'Grady, 2 well-known fighters, Hall of Fame fighters. And now we showed it in Philadelphia back in October, just 2 weeks ago. Unbelievable turnout. Unbelievable. The city was so great to me. And now we're looking for another home. I have another place that I'm about to put it. And we're looking at trying to put it on a very large platform.
What do you hope people are left with when they see it? What do you hope they identify with, connect with? What is some of that real feeling that you hope people absorb? Is it a story of empowerment, of, you can get through anything in life, don't give up on yourself? What are some of the things about it that you're hoping folks, when they see it, really take with them?
I'm hoping that people can see a story of regrets, decision-making, perseverance, overcoming, staying committed, maturing, it has all of those things in it, because you're talking about this is a period piece from 1974, 75 through 85 of young African-American men, boys, we were kids, going to a gym, starting to box, getting acclimated to the streets, starting to be involved in the streets. And it tells a story of just about how we had so many guys that were great fighters, but just decisions cost them and what they were going to do with their lives. But it also showed what these two men brought to the table in comforting us and being father figures and letting us know that you can make it if you stay a path. And that's why we're so grateful to the gym. And I think a lot of the guys, if you were to meet them, you could tell that what the gym meant to them. So it's a story that I think when you watch this, and it's for all ages, I would say from the ages of 10, 12 up, when you start trying to identify with yourself and who you are. You know what I mean? I think it's a story for that age, and men and women, that if you got skills and you got talent, stay in there, because a wrong decision can cost you. But also, if you understand what you did wrong, you have a chance to recover. And I think that's what this documentary tells us all. It's really says.
What was it like putting it together, with the busy schedule you have in comedy and everything else? How long ago did you have the idea? And then when did you start rolling? And what was that process like for you, Dannon?
Can I be very honest with you? And I'm not saying this as trying to be, I don't know what the word would be, but I really don't know how I did it. I mean, because I think when you're in the middle of doing projects, you don't think about it.
Right.
And I always used to have a saying, don't think about it, just do it. From the time I decided I asked Frank if I could do the documentary story, I started writing it because I narrated it too. And I started writing it November of 2017, and I finished it the end of December of 2017. We shot our first week in Philadelphia, the week the Eagles went to the Super Bowl against New England and won. We were in Philadelphia that whole week shooting. I left that Sunday, so I was good luck charm. And from 2018 to, I would say 2020, because we have two different versions of the documentary where we added some stuff to it. So it was about a 2-year process to get it to where it is right now.
And then as far as just assembling the people involved, that must have been a massive undertaking as well.
Yes, because if you know anything about documentaries, you have to, I had to go back to the East Coast to do the interviews. I went back to the East Coast 4 times from the West Coast, bringing a camera crew and cameras. And the first time we went, we did 13 interviews. You want to talk about somebody that lost his voice. That was me. Yeah. But when you do documentaries, you have to set up the time for everybody to come. And you have to say, hey, I need you here between this time and this time, this time and this time. And you got to remember, I'm on the time schedule because I'm flying in from LA. I'm only there for a week. So we interviewed guys for 3 days straight. Each day, probably 3 to 4 interviews a day. So it was a very time consuming. Then you have the interviews I did of the fighters and people that were not even located in Philadelphia. Mark Breland, interviewed him out in LA. Buddy McGirt, LA. Carlos Palomino, LA. Then we had to go to North Carolina and interview a guy. Then Malik Scott in New York. So we were moving, and everything. When you talk about was on time, a timely manner, because to interview the guy in New York, he only had this window. North Carolina, this window. So it takes a lot. It doesn't look like it's a lot, but it takes a lot to put a documentary, this type of story together.
Absolutely. To really tell it with a certain feeling and to get all the facts right and accurate and all of the textures of the filming and just all of it. So people are left with, again, something that really moves them. How did you come up with the title?
It was easy. That was the name of the gym, The Executioners. So that was the easy, that was,
playing off the title itself then.
Yes. But I said it's really called The Executioners. We all had a chance. And that's really the name of the documentary.
The whole thing. Tell us about the gym itself, or if people are not familiar. when you think about gyms, boxing gyms in Philadelphia, you immediately think of Rocky. You think of
Yes.
Sylvester Stallone and, Burgess Meredith and just, Talia Shire and all the people involved.
A grimy type of gym.
Yes, that's sort of, gritty. Okay, let's go. What was this particular gym like?
Our gym was like that. We had in the wintertime it was cold, and in the summertime it was hot.
Yeah.
Wasn't like these gyms you go to today that have carpet and nice showers.
And cappuccino.
You did not want to take a shower there. You did not want to use.
Right.
It was that type of gym. It was a gym that wasn't clean, but at the end of the day, it was your home. You know what I mean? It was a home gym. But it was a tough looking gym, but it really was a great gym. And then the gym wound up it was a church first gym. Then it went to a boxing gym. Then it went back to a church. Yes.
So it's a church now?
No, now it's shut down. I went back and it's actually the place is up for lease.
Oh, was that through the pandemic situation?
I'm not sure, but when I did the interview, when I went back to Philadelphia for the Channel 3 CBS, we did the interview outside, you could see. Yes. So it was great. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you get into comedy? How did that start for you growing up in, originally New York, but then growing up in Philadelphia?
Yes.
How did that, did you have a lot of funny people in your household? How did it happen for you?
No, I always been a character. You know what I mean? We've always been a character in my life. But if anybody knows growing up in the inner city, you can't be a silly guy. You can't, sometimes you got to hide who you are because people will try to take advantage of it. So you always got to keep that little edge on. You try to be cool, stay focused, let people know you're not someone that they're going to be able to, to bother. But I always had a great personality, and I always was an outspoken person. So when I went to college, undergrad, that was where it really came out. I went to college in Iowa, Davenport, Iowa, and I was the president of all my first 3 classes and vice president of SGA. And Student Governance Association, for those who don't know. And I just, my personality came out, but I always wanted to be a businessman. I have my undergraduate degree in computer graphics. I have a master's in computer animation. And when I got accepted to graduate school at Ohio State, I had a buddy tell me, he said, man, you're a funny guy. Man, you should be a comedian. And I kind of like blew him off like, man, shut up. I'm trying to be a bubusinessman,
You're right. I'm a businessman.
Yeah. And, graduated grad school. I was job hunting, and I was driving down the street in Columbus, Ohio, and I saw on the marquee that said open mic night. And I said, you know what? Everybody keeps saying you're funny. Why don't you try it? Let's just see. This is 1991. And I went into this club. It was an open mic. My name got drawn. Out of the 16 names, they drew 8. And I always say, if they didn't draw my name, I'll pick my name. I may not have never done it, but they picked my name. And then the first time I went on stage, I got second place in a comedy competition. And
wow.
I was like, wow. And I never even touched the mic, Jim. I was just like talking like, blah, 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 blah. And people like laughing. I'm like, okay. And, I was just came up with three jokes. And then I entered the competition called Funniest Person in Ohio. And it was a 6-week competition, and I won it. And that was the hook.
That's amazing.
And then I forgot that I went to school I forgot I went to school for a master's in computer animation, and I forgot I was a boxer. I just said I'm gonna be a comedian.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's incredible. So what was one of the first gigs that you remember, one that really was very important that launched the comedy career for you?
I would say the first gig I had, right. Well, I was doing a lot of shows. When you're young in the game, you're coming out and you're trying to do shows. But I had an opportunity in terms of before television. I had the opportunity to host a comedy night one night called Fat Tuesday at the Comedy Store, and it was a night that was one of the biggest comedy nights in the country for like about 5 or 6 years. There's a documentary out on it right now, and that I was part of that. I'm not in the documentary, but I was part of the whole this thing. Well, anyway. One night I was hosting, and people were like, they knew of me, but they saw me host this whole night, and they was like, "Man, you're a funny guy." And then that kind of launched me in LA, and people got to know me. But it was when I got a chance to do BET's Comic View, when they had the series of stand-up comedy for African-American comics. Yeah. And well, not only African-American comics, because there was a lot of comics from all nationalities, so let me take that back. But it was a stand-up comedy show, and that show launched my career. I had people got to know me from there, and one thing led to another, and I was doing that. And then I got into the acting. I waited to get into the acting until I started getting established as a comedian. And that was it. That's what launched my career.
That's incredible, huh? I mean, when you have that happen in that way like that, and then that trajectory is just a real forward movement, which is really cool. And you've had an opportunity to be a part of some very popular TV shows and series as well.
Yes.
Have you enjoyed that too? That part of it, being a part of all these different shows?
I love entertainment.
Yeah.
I love making. I like to see people laugh. I love to make people smile, and I also like to make people think. So I write screenplays, and I also write, not just comedy, but I write dramas as well. So I just love the whole dynamics of making people think, laugh, and navigate through life through entertainment.
That's incredible. What was it like being on some of these shows like Moesha and Girlfriends and One-on-One and all about the Andersons and really cool shows?
It was great because you're on the shows, you're on here with these celebrities, well, not celebrities, your peers, really, and you're acting. And I did a lot of warm up for the shows. I was doing stand up warm up for the TV shows, the audience warm up. So I got to see the whole thing and talk to the audience and watch how everything was being produced. And so it was really just a pleasure. And to be behind the scenes, people, we at the public, we only see the show and go, oh, that was a great show. But if people knew of some of the things that go along and behind, that's just as fascinating as anything.
You also, of course, one of the debuts, a very important one, which I think is really, really awesome, is the debut on the Apollo Comedy Hour.
Yes.
Tell us what that was like.
That was a scary moment. That was the first time I ever did a major show outside of town. I flew to LA, to New York, and the history of the Apollo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was very nervous about doing it. I had a couple of shows in New York, and they didn't do well. This is 1994. New York's a tough crowd, and I was new into the comedy game. And so when I did the Apollo, the great thing about it was I went on stage and I was doing my material, and it wasn't killing, but it was just but you could almost see the audience look at me like, okay, we should boo him, but we think he got something. So
let's stick with him.
Let's hang with him a little longer, And then it was a police joke I used to do, and I got him and ended the show and was like, I made it through that. You know what I mean? But it was awesome.
That is cool.
To go into the Apollo, to see the Apollo, to perform. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, it's a legendary place on so many different levels too. You also being part of The Shield, Everybody Hates Chris with Chris Rock, and Martin Lawrence's First Amendment, and also the classic films Butter, Supreme Sanction, Desert Thunder. So you took a stab at the movie world too. What was that like for you?
Well, that's actually my I don't want to say my end game, but my next phase, because I do stand up and I love television, but I'm writing as well. I'll tell you something funny about the TV show Everybody Hates Chris. I did 6 episodes of it, but what people don't know is I actually shot the pilot. And
you did,
I was
really?
Yes, I auditioned. I booked a character called Mr. Corliss, and I was going to be Tashina Arnold's boss. She was going to go to work and she in a realtor company, and I was going to be her boss. And then about 3 weeks before the show started advertising and started to air, I got a phone call from Dan Dugan, one of the major executive producers, and he said, "Dan, I got good news and bad news." He said, the good news is that the show got picked up, but unfortunately we cut your character. And I fell into I don't want to say depression, but I was really down for about a week and a half. I don't think I got off my couch. You know what I mean? Because, you know, when you book a TV show, you start thinking about, I'm going to be able to move, you know, I'm going to eat better. You know what I mean? I'm going to do all the, hey, I can get a nicer car. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they did give me 6 episodes as different characters. So that was my, my claim to fame with that show. But just to be on those shows is great. I did Real Husbands of Hollywood with Kevin Hart. That was a great episode for me. But over the years, Jim, I was writing. I started writing in like in 98, 99 screenplays, and now I have 6 screenplays. But right now, the big thing that I'm working on in terms of film is I wrote this movie that I have a director and a producer attached to, and we are very close to hopefully getting a deal, and it's going to be major if it goes.
Wow.
We're right in the middle of it right now.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's cool. Congratulations on
Thank
that.
you so much. I mean, because the hardest part of getting any production done, and I think you know this, is getting the finance.
The funding, yes.
So I have we had a meeting with an investor from overseas last week. They said they would read the screenplay, tell me what they think, and I got a call Wednesday night, just past Wednesday, and they said they liked the screenplay. So now we just have to see if they wanted to pull the trigger on the investment. But it's going to be big if it goes. It's going to be huge.
That is fantastic, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
It'll be a game changer for me.
Oh yeah, on many different levels, which I think is just absolutely awesome. So what's a typical day like for you? You constantly working, writing, creating?
I'm working, and I have a job. I've always worked with kids my whole life. I work on call with kids at risk, and then I work with kids with special needs. And I've done that because what your audience doesn't know, and you're about to know, is I'm a foster child. I was an orphan, and I made a promise that I would always try to get back and work with kids, no matter how big or how small I got, because someone was there for me.
That's beautiful. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, paying it forward.
My day is I work at night, and then I'll get up and I'll sometimes work out, but then I'll get my writing on, go grab something to eat. I'm a big golfer. If I can go get to the range and hit some golf balls, and then I'll get ready for a show. If I got a show that evening or during the week, I'll get ready for it. So it's always something. It's funny when we went to high school and we're in elementary school and junior high school and high school and even college, you kept saying, I can't wait to get out of college so I can have more time to do what I want to do. Boy, you get out of college and you ain't got no time to do nothing.
There's less time. You had more time when you were in college.
I had more time when I was in college. Yes.
You also were in The Real Husbands of Hollywood. Tell us about that.
To me, that was kind of my breakout role. As an actor, I had auditioned for the show about 4 or 5 times.
You did.
And I started getting frustrated because I really wanted to be on the show from the beginning. I know the executive producer, I know Kevin, I knew a lot of people that could, and I always felt like it would have been a great show for me, and I wanted to be on there. And I was frustrated because I would audition, get called back, never get the part. Well, I finally got this part, and it was a very good part. I was in half of the episode. And all my scenes were with Nelly, the rapper Nelly.
Oh yeah.
But then I also made the poker table. So if you remember anything about The Real Husbands of Hollywood, Kevin Hart would, they would always be playing poker, and that's where they would discuss whatever was kind of going on. And so I made the poker table. My scene was with Kevin and Nelly and Boris Kodjoe, and it was kind of my breakout role. People said that they felt that was one of the funniest episodes they had seen on the show. So it was a good look for me.
Who are some of the folks that have inspired you, especially in the comedy world, as you were up and coming? Are there people that either mentored you, or maybe you never even met them, but you were just inspired by them and their comedy?
I was never really mentored in comedy. The first comedian that I think I probably laughed or I almost wet my pants was Steve Martin.
Yeah.
And I love him. He had this little King Tut episode skit that he would do. And then as I got into comedy, first of all, we all snuck and listened to Richard Pryor. I mean, you didn't know what it was, and you heard your family doing. So that was the first record, for those who know how old we are, record that I listened to. But then it was I used to watch Steve Martin. And then when it came to comedy, when I got into it, right before I got into it, but just started studying it, George Carlin. And that's kind of my style, George.
Yeah.
So George Carlin, and then I like some of the contemporary comedians. Dave Chappelle, big fan of Dave, No Dave, DL. But then I'm also, in terms of acting, I was a big Benny Hill fan. I'm very big into dry humor. I'm very big into dry humor. And I like that kind of subtle humor that you don't really expect it to come. And I think it also helps me with my own comedy and facial expressions and things that I've done. But Benny Hill, I was a very big fan of Benny Hill. I used to stay up late as I could at night when I grew up in Philadelphia to watch it.
Yeah, right. From England. Very funny. Yeah. And I think, I don't know if it's Tubi or one of those networks that they have the re-airs of it back on, which is...
Oh, I have to watch that. I didn't know that, but I have to watch that.
Yes.
And if your audience has never seen Benny Hill, just Google Benny Hill.
Strap in and hang on.
Yeah.
Strap in and hang on. So we're living in crazy times, a lot of nutty things going on. You got to laugh. You got to laugh through it all. I'm a big believer in levity and laughter and always looking for that line. What inspires you to do your comedy?
I think what you said, really, what the way that the world is right now, the sensitivity of the world. I think the oversensitivity of the world. I think the lack of people being able to laugh at themselves now, it inspires me because I truly believe if you can't laugh at yourself, you're really living in your own prison. You know what I mean? I have a list when I get excited. Sometimes when I get an S word, I don't say it correctly. And when I was younger, people used to talk about it and it would bother me. And then when I got older and into the comedy game, I used it as my strength. I would make a joke about it. And I found out that if you can laugh at yourself, you can really relieve yourself of a lot of stress and pressure in the world. So it drives me to write. It almost drives me to be a little pinning at people. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you don't want to hear it? I'm gonna say it anyway. But,
like Don Rickles did.
Yeah, like Don Rickles. And I think, the thing about it, I think if people can really, I'm surprised how people don't have the discernment and the intuition to be able to look at a person and know he's making a joke. That's not who he is. He's not a hateful person. Right. He's not a person that would do something. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's missing from the human race, discernment. I think we live so much through our cell phones that we believe everything here instead of going and believing your gut. And I believe if we would just do that, I think people would see that, oh, well, you know what? He's just a comic. It's funny, and wait a minute. Love it might be true. Laugh about it. Go on. Go get something to eat. Have a drink. Call it a day.
Call it a day. Exactly. Exactly. It's to take you away from the craziness of life for at least an hour or two while you're watching and listening, right?
Yeah. Jim, I tell people that. When I'm at my shows, I always tell people, especially when I host, I said, do me a favor. Do not be on your cell phones. I said, if you can't live without your phone for an hour and a half, you're not living a good life.
That's right. Right.
And then someone will yell, but I want to check on my kids. And then I'll yell, well, you should have brought them, and get off your phone. You know what I mean?
Or social media too. They're constantly on.
Yeah.
Constantly on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so
Instagram and everything. Yeah.
I try to encourage people, man, take time for yourself. And I think that's going to start happening in the country again. I think people are getting tired of all of the wokeness and all of this. And I think people just want to be like, look, man, okay, if I'm this way, if I'm black, if I'm white, if I'm straight, if I'm gay, if I'm one leg, one arm, it doesn't make a difference. It's comedy. Let's laugh at it, And I think that's what people are starting to see again from all walks of life. Like, man, do you? And I've had some very controversial shows, but I found that people really, at the end of the day, Jim, people really want to laugh. No one wants to live with a frown on their face their whole life.
What are some things that make you laugh? What are some of the craziness of life day to day that you just find funny and crazy?
I am I'm a guy that I like George Carlin. I'm a topical comedian.
Yeah, things that are going on.
But I also, but I'm not the guy that when you see the joke, you don't see the joke coming.
Yeah.
I write purposely like that, and that's one of my strengths, if I could say I have some. But I do like I have a very good dog bit that I talk about people with their dogs and how dogs are, remember when a dog just used to be a dog, you know what I mean? I said, but white people, you guys messed the game up. You start giving dogs hat, coats, and sandals, you know what I mean? Now dogs don't want to be dogs anymore. They want to be people, and I have a whole skit about that, and it's funny. And then I look at what's really going on in life and I flip it, you know what I mean? So
tell us a little something as far as what's going on in life. Let's hear a little of that.
So let's go in let's talk about, we'll do my dog bit. I'll talk about that. Where I talk about how when you go on vacation, you know what I mean? I said that's when you really knew white people messed the game up. I said because they would take a dog to a doggy hotel and spend $1,000 before they even leave for vacation and cry and be like, "I can't take her. Find a home. Can you take care of her?" And the person at the doggy place he starts hustling them like, "Yeah, and for $200 you can get the doggy cam and watch her play." Like, I'm on vacation. People get the doggy cam to watch the dog play. I said, but my dad, he hated the dog. I said, we were on vacation. We was on vacation from Philadelphia to Florida for 3 weeks. He tied the dog up in the backyard and said, "Good luck." I'm like, wait a minute. The dog is like, what the hell? Or if you want to get rid of the dog, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People would take the dog somewhere to get adopted, like, find him a home, we're moving, I said, my dad, he disliked the dog so much, he drove 26 miles outside of Philadelphia and let the dog go. And my brother and I, we were just crying and screaming and when we got home, because we were sad, but when we got home, the dog was on the porch with the police talking about, yep, they all were involved in this, sir.
Lock them up.
Yeah, lock them up. So that's the kind of stuff that I do, and it's edgy, but it's real. You know what I mean?
Real. Yeah,
it's real. And I you know what? I'll never forget a show I did back in LA one time, and I was doing this joke, and it was a joke about gay couples, and I said, "Was there any gay couples in the house?" And these two white ladies raised their hand, and I did the joke, and people got quiet. And I said, wait a minute, what are you guys getting quiet? I said, they're the ones that are gay. You know what I mean? And they started, and they laughed and stuff, and I did the joke. And when the show was over, I'll never forget this, Jim. Those ladies came up to me and said, I mean this. They said, "We really appreciate you." And I said, "Why?" They said, "Because, we had no problem with what you were talking about." This was way before, this was like in early 2000 before it really became, but it let me know that as a comedian, you can do jokes and talk about anything if that person knows in their heart that you're not a mean person, that you don't mean them any harm. And when those women came up to me, and I never forget, we took pictures and everything. It was at the Comedy Store. It was one of the I won't say one of my greatest nights. I don't want to go that route, but I want to say it was one of those moments where you said to yourself, "You're on the right path."
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You're on the right path.
And it also gives us pause to look at our own lives. And like sometimes, some of what you're hearing, there is some truth to it as well.
Yes.
And just no matter how I find a lot of things funny. I mean, I'm always looking for the funny. Have you had to alter your comedy because of current climate? Like you say, some of the things where you can't, if you say hello a certain way, people will go, "How did you mean hello?" I said,
yeah, I know. I mean,
hello,
see, everybody,
hello. Hi, how are you? Hello.
Well, the reason that I haven't yet, or I probably won't, is because I know in my heart that I know what kind of person I am.
Right.
Like I tell people when I do white and black jokes and stuff like that, or I talk about white people go, "Oh man," and I tell them, I said, "Wait a minute, there's not a racist bone in my body." And they're like, "What?" I'm a foster kid. I'm an orphan. For 3 to 4 years of my life, Jim, I was raised in a cottage in Staten Island, New York, where white women ran the cottage. They worked it. So that's as a child, that's what I saw. And just on that level, it's like I know who I am as a person. I can get people to vouch for me from every walk of life if I ever need be. So because of that, I don't do materials anyway to go at you and jab at you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go, if I see somebody in the wheelchair at a show, I may say, wait, what happened to you? You know what I mean? And joke, and not do a joke on it, just say, hey, what happened? But if I feel that they can take something, I might say, yeah, why don't you roll over here and do, whatever. And if at the end of the night, they know. A comedy crowd, and I just thought of this, and that was a great question.
Mm-hmm.
A comedy crowd to me is like a baby and a dog. A baby, you ever hold someone's baby and they'll go, he doesn't let anybody hold him. Mm-hmm. He cries when anybody holds him.
Yeah.
And that's because that baby knows in his spirit what kind of person you are.
Yeah.
It's the same with a dog. You'll have people say, my dog doesn't like anybody. How can you pet him? He's bitten 3.
Right.
Because they know.
Right.
An audience will know what kind of person you are by how you present your comedy. So I haven't had to curve anything. I wouldn't anyway. But I haven't.
You haven't had to curb your enthusiasm?
No. And I actually auditioned for that show.
Did you really?
A month ago. I didn't get the part, but it was close. Yeah.
But it was close.
Yes.
What about hecklers? You ever have to deal with one?
Yeah.
Probably every comedian has to deal with
You don't have to deal with that. You go at them, but even your hecklers know. You know what I mean? When you have a heckler and they know, they can feel if you get them, but my whole thing as a comedian is you're my ally. I need the audience. I'm nothing without an audience. I'm nothing without an audience. You're nothing without an audience. If people don't watch your show, you got 9,000 shows of nothing. You know what I mean? So, or 900.
I would agree about that. Those 9,000 other shows, they're nothing.
Nothing. So, I just feel like, in terms of the audience, I go out there, have fun. If someone heckles me, I let them say it. I'll get them, move on. Now, if they try to heckle me and mess up the show for other people, then I go, all right, my man, you keep it up. You're going to be up out of here. You'll be watching the show from the car. You know what I mean? And then, and sometimes I've had to put them out,
Yeah. Literally.
Yes, literally. Security.
I mean, folks, in case you're just joining us, we're talking to a two-time Golden Glove champion in boxing. So when they see this starting to happen, they might want to zip it.
Yes. Slow it down now. There you go. No.
You're right. That is funny. But again, this is really something. It's a little bit of a departure from, the comedy and the television shows and the movies and the stand-up and everything. This baby of yours, The Executioners, what has been, the commentary? What are people saying about it right now?
I feel that what people have been telling me makes me feel like it's one of the best documentaries ever done in terms of boxing. My boxing documentary is the first of its kind ever about a boxing team. Most boxing documentaries have been about a boxer,
the individual, yeah,
right, an individual or a fight or a situation. Ali, The Thriller in Manila. Jack Johnson, his story. There was never
Joe Louis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sugar Ray. There's never been a boxing documentary about a team.
Yes.
And I produced the first one.
I asked my father, and he's actually always mentioned it, because he's always been somebody that roots for the underdog.
Yes.
So I do as well. Case in point, when he was a kid, it was the Brooklyn Dodgers. And then when they took off to LA, the New York Mets.
Right.
So talk about rooting for underdogs. And
yeah. Talk about rooting for underdogs.
yeah, I was rooting for the Phillies with, I bet you were
I know.
rooting for the Phillies too.
You had to bring that up, huh? We were having a good conversation.
Any comedy you have about that, or
no comedy, Jim. Just the fact that you know how to destroy an interview. Go ahead, keep going.
Bring up the Phillies.
yeah, keep it going.
I asked him, would pick one person that you would consider your hero, outside of like your father or grandfather or somebody, and he always says Joe Louis.
Wow.
And Joe Louis, just because of Joe Louis's character. He was a gentleman, sort of soft-spoken in a way, but also because of the timing of when Joe Louis competed against Max Schmeling, which was representing Nazism and all of that, and America versus Nazi.
Right.
And so he was really, a lot of things were riding on him winning,
right.
Of course, which he did. And there was just that whole thought, as well as Joe being such an incredible talent, still remains for him one of his heroes, which to me makes total sense.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you gotten a chance to meet other boxers and legends that you've always looked up to as well over the years?
Yeah. I mean, I've met No Sugar Ray Leonard, Mark Breland. I've met Mike Tyson.
Did you meet Ali?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me tell you the Ali story. That's really amazing. So, in 1990, that was the year that Mike Tyson had beat. Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson. And so I want to see if I can find this picture on my Instagram. So Buster Douglas was living in Columbus, Ohio at the time when I went to Ohio State. So I was fighting in the Golden Gloves in West Virginia. And what they did was Buster Douglas and Ali were there together at the Golden Gloves taking pictures. And for $10, you could take a picture with Buster Douglas and Muhammad Ali together. So I was standing in line, and I'm trying to see if I can find it on my Instagram. And I was standing in line, and I paid my $10, and I'm waiting to take my picture. And as I'm waiting to take my picture, my trainer comes to me and goes, "Hey, Dannon, you're fighting 2 fights. You got to go get laced up." I'm like, "All right." So I leave. I go to the locker room. I get dressed up. He's wrapping my hands. And they call my fight, and I'm walking towards the ring. And as I walk towards the ring, I see Buster Douglas already had left. I see Muhammad Ali walking away. So I stop. And my trainer goes, "What's wrong?" I said, "Hey, I paid $10 to get a picture with Muhammad Ali." He said, "Man, you got to fight. You got to go in the ring." Like literally my fight was up. I said, "I don't care. I paid $10. I want to get a picture with him, So my trainer called over to Ali's handlers and said, "Hey, the kid said he paid $10 to get a picture with Muhammad. Did he?" So they looked at him and they go, "Oh yeah, he paid." And Ali walked over and took a picture with me.
Wow.
And so fast forward about 10 years, I'm living in Los Angeles, and one of my best friends is Yaya, Johnny McClain. His name is Yaya. And he was married to Layla Ali. It was her first husband. And he came to my house. He saw the picture and he goes, "Man, that's a cool picture." I said, "Yaya, do you think you can get Ali to sign the picture for me?" And he goes, "Yeah, give me the picture." And I gave him the picture, and Ali signed the picture for me. And I want to show you, if I can show your audience. Let me take the light off of here. You see that?
Oh, yeah.
And that's the picture. That was in 1990 at the Golden Gloves tournament. That's Muhammad Ali, my trainer. And if you look right here, you can see right there where Ali signed the picture.
That's a very cherished thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, that's my claim to fame.
Yeah.
If anybody ever says, "Did you box before?" I can say, "What do you think?"
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's incredible. Do you still do any of that? Do you still? You do.
Yeah, I train. I still work out, and I train people now.
You
so
train.
I have clients that I train, like for workout in Los Angeles.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I just picked up a new client, a kid, nice little kid. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm still involved big with boxing, and to believe it or not, Jim, boxing has really saved my life, made my career, because I've been able to do things involved in boxing that always kept me relevant.
Yeah.
Outside of my stand-up and acting. The documentary alone, to produce the movie, a feature film, how many people get to do that?
That's really something, huh?
Yeah.
Now that you've done that, Mr. Filmmaker.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cecil D. DeMille.
Yes, producer, please add producer in front of that.
And producer and narrator. And do you see more of that in the offing? Would you like to do more films and documentary that you have not maybe acted in or just did comedy in, but you are actually creating?
Yeah, well, I would like to do another documentary, but my big thing right now is this movie that I wrote. It's a cross between Crash and Terms of Endearment. Wow. That's it's a drama, it's emotional. People that have read the script have all said that there are certain parts of it that they've cried, like they've teared up. And it's a great story. And I won't give it away, but I'll just say the movie is called Heartbreak Hotel. But I truly believe that this movie is going to be a game changer for the world. And it's original. And I truly believe that when it comes out, you'll have me on the show again and you'll go, you told me. And that's where we are, because it's really a dynamic film. And it's a story that every single person in the world can relate to. Every single person.
That's incredible. What inspired that one?
I'll give you just a little hint. We've all have had, or maybe have experienced, a broken heart. And a lot of times the broken heart is not just the person's fault that broke your heart, because you can have a broken heart for a lot of different things. Oh, yeah. It's not just relationships. It's not just death. It can be a job. It can be your team lost, and a lot of times your heart is part of the reason. Mm-hmm. And remember earlier when I said some people lack discernment and intuition, and that's what feeds your emotion.
Some people lack empathy too. Yes.
And so that's pretty much a little bit about what the story is about. I don't want to give it away.
Yeah.
But it's one of the longest scripts I've written. It's 124 pages. I've never written a film that long. I was going to have a table read for it. I was trying to have a table read for it before the holidays, but because of my schedule, and then with us possibly getting finance for it, I'm going to hold off on it.
Yeah.
Table read. But we are really close, and I truly believe that it's a game changer. You have never seen a film like this before.
That is incredible, huh?
Yeah, and I'm not saying that to say that to your audience. I'm saying when people read it, they go, "This is an original."
So it's going to touch a lot of people.
It's going to touch the whole spectrum of the world. Anybody that sees this movie, anybody from all walks of life, gender, nationalities, is going to touch you. Trust me.
Yeah, wow, it's
going to make you laugh too.
And what is there? You said the name? Did you say the name?
Yes, Heartbreak Hotel.
That's right, Heartbreak Hotel. Right. Wow.
That's the writing title, not the working title. Hopefully that'll be the end title.
Wow, that's incredible. Yes. So that has already begun. That process.
That process is I'm actually met with a graphic designer yesterday, a guy, because I'm putting a pitch deck together so he can design the poster. But right now I have a director. The directors that I have this past season, he had a film that was made it to like the last 20 films to be nominated for an Oscar. It was one of the films they were considering. Wow. And this director has attached himself to to my project, and I have a producer. And so right now, it's really about, and I had a great meeting, like I said, 2 weeks ago with the possible investors. And if they go and do it, it's a game changer. It's going to be a game changer.
That is incredible. You heard it here first on the Jim Masters Show live series.
Yes, you have.
Another exclusive scoop. That's really cool. You know who's loving this conversation as well, and he usually always pops in at different times of the conversation. Mr. George Burns is with us.
One of my favorite guys. George, how are you?
He's doing fantastic, he says. And he said you knocked it out of the park today. And he sent you love from himself and Gracie. And of course, you know, you got God on your side because he played God in the movies.
Yes.
And,
well, then can you ask George, because I knocked it out the box?
Was that a plane that flew over, or did the guy upstairs flush his toilet?
That was God right there.
That was God.
Yes. Can you ask George, could he send me a cigar? And then I know that I did what I was supposed to do.
He's got one right there.
I see that.
Yes.
For those who don't know, George Burns smoked a cigar to the day he died.
And he lived, you know.
100 something, like 101, didn't he?
Yeah. And my aunt collected dolls, a serious collector of dolls, one of my mother's sisters. And this got passed down to me. So I put him on the show when we did some comedic nostalgic episode 2 years ago, and the audience fell in love with him. So he pops in, and there he is, and kind of cool, huh? One of the legends.
Yeah, I got a little character that I bring in. I call him Little Larry. He's a little bear, yellow bear.
Really?
Yeah, I bring him when I go live. Sometimes I bring him in, and I have him talk to the audience.
Sometimes he pops in, and sometimes so does Gilligan.
Oh, okay. So you have, I can see what you have there. Yes.
TV, Mr. TV.
You don't look old enough to understand, to know all of these great former shows and people.
Oh, Rodney Dangerfield, Phyllis Diller, Flip Wilson, Nipsey Russell.
Rodney Dangerfield is one of my favorite comedians ever.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm sad that I never got a chance to meet him. That was the one that I would have loved to have met.
Yes. What are some of your favorite places where you've performed stand-up that you just really have always liked over the years?
Well, my favorite that I performed at, that I can probably say outside the Apollo, is Caroline's in New York. I got a chance to be there for a week, so I was very happy to be at Caroline's. I've done the Improv, the Comedy Store. I'm at the Laugh Factory tomorrow night. So I perform. I've now, at the Improvs, I perform everywhere now. So it's nowhere but. What I do want to say, one of my special moments that I perform, and I'm going to be doing it in December, is I perform for the troops. So in December, I'm going to Japan and Korea to perform for the troops. And I take that very seriously. And I love performing for the troops because I have a fond respect for the military. Because when I went over there, this is going to be my third or fourth time going overseas. The first time I went, and I saw places that they had to be located that I would not even think about going. I have nothing but fond respect for the military. So I'm just thankful that I get to go there in December, and I'll be performing in Korea and in Japan.
That is so cool, huh?
Yes.
Why do we need humor in our lives? Why do we need to laugh? I mean, I talk about it a lot, and I'm always, again, looking for ways to laugh. My father, funny, and his Irish humor is always passed down to me. Why do you think it's essential that we do? Because there's a lot of people out there who aren't laughing, and they're all upset, and they're all just, everything's so serious. We really need it. I mean, our mind, body, and spirit requires that we loosen up and we laugh and just have a good time, right?
Yes. This is going to sound a little harsh, but you'll understand what I'm saying. We're all going to pass one day anyway.
That was harsh.
But the day that we're born, we're on the clock. God has us here, and I'm a Christian. God has us here for a reason, to see if we can treat people right, to see if we can try to live the life that he's lived. But in the meantime, he didn't say not have a good time. So why be crammed up? Why be emotionally drained? Why emotionally let yourself laugh at it? if you're living a hard life and things are tough, I always tell people, go take a nap, go to sleep, wake up, and try to refresh, and let's have a new day. You know what I mean? Let's try to start something new. So I believe that, I mean, my life has been tough. I went through foster care. I lost my mother when I was 10 months. I lost my adopted mom when I was 15. I was on my own since 17. I went to 4 high schools. I was homeless when I moved to LA after 6 months, and I never gave up. And I found out that just understanding that life is going to go on, whether you're happy or not, it made me understand that, hey, why not enjoy it? I've made mistakes. I still make some mistakes. But at the end of the day, I know that if you can laugh and you can find someone to laugh with, that's the most powerful thing you can have. It's nothing like getting up in the morning and having a friend to talk to, or having a wife or a mate and someone that you can say, that was pretty crazy, and you can go on with life. So laughter is needed. It's good for the soul. It releases stress. So many people walk around angry and mean, and it's only hurting them.
Right.
So I truly believe, and I really like people. That's one thing about me. I've always loved people. And it's gotten me in trouble, because when you love people and you like people, you're also honest. And when you're honest, sometimes people don't like it, especially if it messes with their feelings.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I always tell people this, Jim, I don't mean any harm in anything and on how I treat you. And if you can live your life like that, and if you can treat people like that, there's nothing you can't laugh about. And there's no way that you can't wake up and be like, wow, I had a pretty good day yesterday.
Exactly right. Exactly. Beautifully said, my friend. What are some of the things you have coming up, in addition, of course, to celebrating the documentary? And again, congratulations on that work of art. And where can, before we even do that, where can people see it?
Well, right now we don't have it up. We had it down because we're in the process now of trying to get a distribution deal with a couple of streaming services. But I would definitely be in touch with you and hopefully let you know. But
Are you trying to get it up?
Yes. Oh, it will be up. It will be up. It will be up soon. I can put it back on Tubi, but I'm really trying to go to a bigger platform. I would like to try to go Hulu or Netflix or something like that. But I have some other platforms that are looking at. So we hope to have it up by the beginning of next year.
Fantastic. So there it is on the screen, folks. And if you joined us late, we showed an actual trailer that was provided to us, which we really enjoyed showing, which gives you a really good idea, some snippets about what this incredible documentary is about. What else do you have coming up? You mentioned Laugh Factory tomorrow night. Good luck with that. What else is happening? You mentioned you're going overseas.
I'm at the Laugh Factory in Hollywood tomorrow. I'll be in Oakland, California the day before Thanksgiving to do a show. Then I come back and do another show in LA. And then I prepare to go overseas for the troops in December for 20 days, the 26th of December through the 15th of January. And then hopefully by that time, Jim, we'll know where we are with our film project. And we'll be going to pre-production with that. And then I have another screenplay that we're going to try to shoot for a very low budget, but it's like a comedy, a little cheesy comedy. And so those are the things that I'm working on. Every year I set goals. This year has been a beautiful year for goals. And again, I want to get on that level where at the end of the day, I'm talking to people in the world to know that, you know what? It's not such a bad place to be at.
Exactly right. Exactly right, my friend. What are some of those blessings and joys in your life that keep you going forward through it all?
I think one, I beat cancer. I had cancer 11 years ago. So I beat that. As a foster kid, I beat that. The statistics that I'm supposed to have lost growing up in Philadelphia, being African-American, being a male, probably not supposed to be where I'm at right now. So it's one of those things that, how can I say it? When you beat so much, but you're not mad at life, I think that's what makes it all worthy for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's the situation. Because a lot of people can beat things and still be mad at life. I never blamed anybody for my situation. I've dealt with what I've had to deal with. And at the end of the day, I'm a go-getter. I'm a New York kid, born and raised in Philly. So, as East Coast people, we go for it.
Yeah, right.
And, and if I don't, here's the thing about it. at the end of the day, and I'll tell your audience this, nobody cares about your shortcomings. And if you show it, they're just going to be like, he can't deal with it. But they're more inclined to be supportive and be there for you when they know that you're willing to go out there and not blame anybody and try to go for it.
And if you get hung up on them, sometimes people will point out a shortcoming that nobody noticed before, but then when you mention it, they're like, oh, I didn't notice that before, but now that you mentioned it, and then you're kind of like, maybe I shouldn't have said a word.
So yeah, but that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much me.
Congratulations. Are you getting back to the East Coast for the holidays at all?
No, I'll be here because I'll be leaving to go to Japan and Korea. I'll be staying here to take care of all of my business here, and you know,
still have family on the East Coast?
Yes, I do a lot of family.
That's great. That's fantastic. Good stuff. So you know where all the good cheesesteaks are in the whole.
Yes, I had a couple, and I'm going to go when I leave here today. There's a place in LA that they sell about the closest to it. I'm going to go get one. So yeah.
Fantastic. Dannon, you are the best. This was really an incredible conversation. And that's what I say.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Like I say, we do conversations here, not interviews. We do it like Johnny Carson, Dick Cavett, Regis, and some of the legends where it's conversational and we bring in the viewers. They've been commenting and they said they absolutely love this conversation. And they said, I say the show has a lot of light, love, and levity. And one time I said the word levity. I combined love and levity. Didn't even know I was saying that. And then the word levity came out and they already said you're a levity on the show. Kind of cool, huh?
Thank you guys so much. Tell your audience, thank you. And if you guys could follow me at Dannon Green 66, that's my Instagram. I don't tweet. I always tell people I don't tweet because if I tweet, I'm gonna get in trouble. I don't I don't type fast enough to say what I really mean.
Yes.
So,
and
I'm not on Twitter, but if you can follow me on Instagram at Dannon Green 66 and Facebook Dannon Green, I would love for you to follow me and just see where my career goes. And Jim, I hope to be back here next year or so with that film.
You good luck. Good luck, George Burns, Gilligan, the whole crew. They wish you nothing but the best. And you be well, okay, my friend?
Thank you, my friend. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Have a great New Year, Christmas, and a Happy New Year to you and your audience.
You as well. Thanks for being with us, Dannon.
Thank you, guys.
Hope you enjoyed the show as much as I did.
I did. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see it, and nothing but love. Thank you, Jim.
All right. You take care. Absolutely amazing. Dannon Green here on the Jim Masters Show live. Really fantastic. We appreciate him being with us right here. And again, really absolutely amazing. Really fantastic and absolutely wonderful to have him here. And good stuff. Good stuff. We really appreciate it. And check out that incredible, we're just pulling it up here. There it is, gang. Executioners. Keep an eye out for it. It's going to be amazing. Gang, if you do like, the comedy and the comedians, Rita Rudner, the legendary Rita Rudner, is going to be here tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Another epic comedy legend. She's been on all the shows. Johnny Carson. I mean, you name it. She has been doing this for like over 50 years. She's going to be with us exclusively on the Jim Masters Show live tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. The incomparable Rita Rudner. More comedy. She's got a new book out too, Rita Rudner, My Life in Dog Years. And Dannon Green, comedian, actor, filmmaker extraordinaire. We thank him for being with us. And he'll be back. Like he already said, I want to come back on the show. And we love that. Really, really love that. We've got an amazing week also of incredible guests that are coming up. Rita is tomorrow. But so many people are coming to the Jim Masters Show live series. Gang, if you enjoyed this, give us a thumbs up. That really helps us. Give us a thumbs up and leave a comment on the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. We really appreciate that. There is that subscribe button. Click that. You see it on the screen there. It's also on our YouTube channel. And don't forget to click on that notification bell icon. There's a little notification bell icon there. Looks like a little bell. And that way there, you're going to be kept abreast of the cool things that are happening on our show, all the content, hundreds and hundreds of episodes of our series that you can watch What a great conversation. We appreciate Dannon being with us here on the program. We appreciate all of you being with us as well. Great comments coming in here from everybody. Thanks for being with us. We love having all of you here. Gang, we're going to scoot out. We got a busy night. We're going out tonight. So thanks for being with us. We appreciate all of you. Rita Rudner is here tomorrow for those that are watching live. If you want to check that out, we will be here. If you miss anything, everything is always saved for you in the archives. We don't say goodbye around here. We say thank you. Take care. Be well. Sláinte, sayonara, shalom. See you later. Moi loop, and just take care of yourself. Love one another. Don't forget to laugh. We always talk about that. Love and levity created the word levity. Smile, laugh. Don't forget, of course, as we always say, to relax. We brought this back recently, and the world can really use a lot more laughter and a lot more relaxing, chilling out, calming down, sort of depressurizing and lowering the temperature for sure. So don't forget to relax, gang. You guys take care, be well. And thanks for watching this episode of the Jim Masters Show live series from all around the world. We love you all. Again, don't forget, you can always give us a super thanks on our YouTube channel. There's a little heart icon there. Click on that. That helps support hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours, thousands of hours, actually hundreds of shows, but thousands of hours of the entertainment, lifestyle, variety talk show series, the Jim Masters Show Live, that we present for all of you. We put a smile on your face as well. All right, gang, we're going to scoot off. We have a busy night ahead. Thanks for being with us one more time. Thanking Dannon Green and thanking all of you for joining us on this episode of the Jim Masters Show Live. We'll be back for our next episode live. And then, of course, if you miss anything or you want to watch this episode again, all you have to do is stay on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, and you can check out all the episodes, binge watch, share the episodes on your social media. I'm at Jim Masters TV on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We'll see you there as well. You can follow and like and all the rest. All right. We'll see you again soon. Thanks for being with us. Jim Masters, your host here. Thank you for your time this time. Till next time, be well, love one another, take care of one another, and don't forget to love yourself. We love having you here on the Jim Masters Show. Cheers.